Monique Coleman and Romeo Marquez Jr. are game changers, both making positive impacts on the world, serving as inspirations to others through their actions and words. Monique is best known for her time as an Emmy-nominated host, actress, and champion for young people. She has appeared on the big screens for Hollywood hits, including High School Musical, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Steppin' Back to Love, and continues to pursue her passion as a speaker and host. Romeo is best known as an international speaker, trainer, and coach, appearing in TED Talks and various TV shows. His positive light and determination to make the world a happier place through his social media platforms and shows continue to inspire people all over to do and be their best. In everything Monique and Romeo do, they give their all, and that is what makes them the inspiring individuals that they are today.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who will share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafae Velasco, and for this series, our topic is Finding Your Why. For this episode, we have empowered individuals that I am so excited to share with you today, the creators of Ro and Mo, to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let me welcome the beautiful and amazing Monique Coleman and Romeo Marquez Jr. Hi, guys.
Hi. What an introduction. That was amazing.
That's my little surprise for all the guests before we start.
I love that. I was like watching our lives flash by and I was like, look at you. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
That's how I want to start it because, of course, apart from the two of you who are already a natural in the limelight or in front of the camera, I have a few guests that still I am their cheerleader. So I would tell them, hey, you're going to get on my show and you're just going to inspire people because you are inspiring. And they're just like, oh, no. And I'm just like, okay, don't worry, you'll be relaxed. And then when they see that flash, the slideshow, they're like, oh, amazing. I am amazing. But anywho, guys, thank you so much for being with me. Your evening, my morning. Obviously, you're both in the States, both in California, right?
Yes. I'm actually currently in Arizona, but I live in California.
Okay. And, I'm just so thankful that we were able to align and make sure that we are able to inspire others, most especially at this time. I mean, both of you have the desire to change the world, despite your successes in life, you're still able to achieve and be those cheerleaders for others. And so I wanted to share that today. But before I ask you guys what you've been up to lately, can you please share a little bit about your background and how you both are the empowered and inspiring people today? So maybe Romeo, ladies first.
Of course. Always.
Please share with everyone on how you are the empowered woman that you are today.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that identification and label. I think often it's important that we have who we are reflected back to us, because sometimes I don't feel empowered. And so it's really beautiful to know that even in those moments of vulnerability or insecurity, that we can still make that impact and difference. For me specifically, I think it really comes down to growing up at a time where I was kind of taught that girls are supposed to be seen and not heard. And I was given some messaging that was really meant to protect me and keep me safe. But some of it made me feel small. And I kind of battled with that my whole life. This sort of big feeling that I had on the inside and waiting for that moment to get to express all that I am. And I thought that would come through acting. That's my profession and that's what I've been doing for the last 30 something years now. And what I realized was that it didn't come through my successes. It actually came through my failures. It came through the moments where I had to become someone that I didn't recognize. And I had to really show myself what I was made of. I think so our most defining experiences often happen behind closed doors. And for me, realizing the power of our voice and understanding that I can play roles, but the best role that I can ever play in my life will be being myself. And so it's something that I have just worked at very diligently. And funny enough, my relationship with Romeo is a really big part of it. Having a partner, having someone that holds you accountable, like a spiritual anchor in your life. We go back to over 10 years now, like even longer. We've been friends, and our relationship has been that, almost like your slideshow in the beginning, where at times where we're both feeling down, or we're not really sure if what we're doing is working, or if people are really seeing it, we've always been able to pick up the phone and call each other and be that person in each other's life. And then that gives me the strength to then go back out there and go, okay, I don't need everybody to see it. Even if just one person sees it and knows it, then I am doing it, and it does matter. And I then get the feedback from other people. Where do you get this confidence from? And honestly, I don't even know if it's confidence. Sometimes I think it's just showing up and continuing to show up and be brave.
So how often do you hear "it's time"?
All the time. It's time. It's time.
I love that. Every time I look at my watch, I think about Romeo. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. I love that you touched on already. That failure is the greatest teacher. But before we expand on that, Romeo, your turn. The hype man for everyone. And I always tell Jen, "Jen, you're so lucky." She's like, "Yep, I'm very lucky."
And she's like, and I find it annoying sometimes. It's too hype for me. You gotta tone down that hypeness. For me, just life in general has been about discovery and trusting the process. I've been just this energetic kid filled with breakdancing and just movement and music, and breakdancing was a big thing in middle school. And so being expressive in that way has been, very useful all the way up to now. And then, when high school came, I was expressing that, energy of expression through like football. But one thing to just point out, like while I was expressing that through sports, through football, I really wanted to do theater and performing. But I was afraid that people would make fun of me. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of not fitting in if I did do that, so forth and so on. And so slowly but surely, I started to create these limiting beliefs to myself, where I felt I wasn't allowing myself to be my true me. And so fortunately, it wasn't until, I went to community college where I was able to step into what that expression was. And it started out through acting, and then throughout my journey of personal development, I realized that I loved studying acting, but I really love studying action, being able to help people take action, me stepping into taking action to see and discover who I truly am. And as I found that along the way, which we'll expand later, where I get really where it really lights me up is when I see other people living their passion, and when they discover their light and finding their light and finding new levels of their light, so forth and so on. And definitely Monique is definitely that light in my life who ignites my light. And that's why we connect in that way. And so as we're just living life, especially during this time, I'm finding, yes, it's gloomy, like literally it's gloomy because all of the California fires, but I find the light in situation and being surrounded by light and having conversations that bring me light. So that's what puts me on fire, because there's so much light around me.
And that's why you always inspire me. I mean, you have really, you have this stamp I think that's what's amazing about you, Romeo. And I see it through Monique and how she shares that you are a cheerleader in her life. But again, let's go back to, failure is the greatest teacher in our lives, right? Is there any particular moments that you can share with everyone on how you were able to experience that certain failure, and how has that failure defined your journey?
I feel like the failures keep coming. There's only one that I can be like, oh, hey, girl, let me just tell you about this one failure and how it shaped my whole life. And, ooh, it's over. I'm like, let me think which one I want to start with. Honestly, I feel like for me, it's almost at the entry point of every level up. Like every time I'm meant to grow, expand, or elevate in some way, it's like, we can call them failures, but in a way, it's actually more like just lessons and learning. It's what sharpens us. And if you think about it, you wouldn't really want a doctor that was working on you that didn't pass the test, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you would want to make sure that they were tested before they were going to be given the right to tinker with your body, And I think when we look at our divinity and we look at our destiny, it's important to recognize that we're going to be tested along the way to make sure we can handle what we think we want. So for me, it comes in the form of very tangible things, like going through a season in my career where I went on 30 auditions and didn't get one single callback. For those who are watching who don't know what a callback is, that's the next step before you can even before you can book the role. So you audition and then you kind of go through a process, and I wouldn't make it past the first step. And sometimes there might be 3 or 4 steps. And there was about a 1.5 to 2 year period where I just was constantly auditioning. And yet during that time, I really had to rely on some of the principles that I know to be true, that like rejection is protection, or rejection is redirection, essentially. But when you're experiencing it, it feels very, very different. I feel like I also experienced a lot of failures in love, pursuing relationships that didn't work out, and looking at myself and wondering what was wrong with me, instead of realizing what was right with me, and that I needed to fall more deeply in love with myself before I was going to invite a partner, which I'm blessed to have now. And in my business, moving into entrepreneurship and becoming a CEO, I've experienced numerous failures, and at times deep betrayal and kind of crippling pain that I realized was a replacement in my life for going to get a business degree. So, it's like I look and I think about what I perceive as having lost, the things that I think I lost, I gained an experience, I gained an opportunity. And I think every time we face one of those moments where it just almost feels not hopeless, but when we really don't know where to go, that is the exact point of where our breakthrough is going to happen. And I think if we can stop looking at life like things are happening to us, and really recognize that everything is happening for us, then our failures are not actually, they're not failures. They are just the challenges and the stepping stones to shape our future. So, and trust me when I say I've experienced a lot of them, and constantly am being challenged to grow in these different areas. And now, I still get scared, if I'm honest, but I do welcome them, and I honor them, even when they hurt and I'm confused. I try to honor it and have gratitude for it, because I know that it's going to make me better.
Yes, exactly. And Romeo, what about you?
I don't even want to add. Monique just like,
oh God,
that was it right there. I was like, okay, next question. That was great.
I know, right?
What comes to mind? Well, first of all, I want to acknowledge just the shift in languaging of when it comes to failure, like what Monique just brought up. It's not about what's wrong with me, but what is right with me. It's not about it's not about the rejection, but the redirection to where it can lead you. Another thing, that concept that comes to mind is no means next. What's falling apart isn't really falling apart. It's really falling into place, right? So it's all a shift. And I love acronyms, right? And so one of my acronyms that I've learned and I love sharing for fail is finding answers in life, right? A lot of people see failure as, a loss, but don't count that L as a loss, count it as a lesson, because when there's a lesson, there's a blessing, right? So there have been many lessons and there have been many blessings in those lessons that we might perceive as failures. And so seeing those as gifts has been allowing me to see where I could grow, where I can evolve, and being able to know that it is a gift, right? And so seeing the light in it, seeing the light, I brought up light earlier. Here you go. FAIL, finding answers in light, in the light, right? And so from the whole auditions of like not doing good and not making it to speaking on stage or not being picked to X, Y, and Z, there have just been many in my life where I've been, again, told, and I love to share with people, that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of success. And so being able to see it as a gift has allowed me to not reject. I don't reject the rejection. I welcome it, because like Monique said, we know it's going to evolve us to a greater us, to, weed out to the old us so that we could step into the new us. So.
Yeah. Can I throw one more thing in that you just brought that just sparked my mind? You were talking earlier about action and how important that is. And I think when you think about the failures, we have to realize that you have to align before you act. And a lot of times the failure is to help you get into that alignment, because you don't really want to keep going in a direction if it isn't the right direction. It's better to take one step in the right direction than 10 steps of action that aren't actually leading you anywhere. And so those failures, I almost kind of like look at it like almost like a maze. And as if there's this destiny, if each of us has a purpose and a place that we're ultimately supposed to go, and we don't get to see that path, then perhaps these failures are actually the guardrails preventing us from going too far down the wrong path, so that we actually get redirected and get into alignment so that we can take that action that Romeo was talking about earlier.
Oh, that's so good. Alignment. Me and Mo are all about alignment.
We're all about getting in
the
flow and aligning. Yeah.
Right.
And now I'm part of that.
Yes,
100%.
I want to ask you both, because of course I always think about this and I always share this with the youth, is that, wow, imagine if I had a chance to go back in time and knowing what I know now and apply it when I was 21 or even 16, 15. But at that time, we were going through puberty, we were going through so many changes in our lives, and self-doubt is one of the biggest ones. I think, Romeo, you pointed that out. Going into high school, right? You had these questions. So how do you think that has, defined you guys? When you had those moments of self-doubt when you were younger, how was the feeling and how did you overcome it?
I could go. So I thought whenever self-doubt or any quote unquote negative feeling came through, I thought it was the end of the world. Like, I didn't like it. I thought I was a failure. I thought X, Y, and Z. But I've learned over time that you have to get through it. You have to go through it before you get to it, right? And whatever happens for you, face value isn't face value. There's something greater. And that's why I mentioned earlier it's trusting the process. Because, I've cried, I've been hurt, I've went to depression, like I've been through, I still go through these different feelings, but embracing that, because I know that it's going to lead me to, the next level of my life. But I could say, just talking as a young person and working with young people, it's hard, it's difficult, but know that there are people, there are resources, there are things you can connect with to let you know that you are not alone, right? That you can, be lifted up, and being able to, again, I think mentors and coaches and environments will help you break through to that next level, because otherwise we'll just continue to be stuck in our head. And, unfortunately, which can lead to other harmful things that people can get into. So being able to redirect that energy to something useful and helpful.
Yeah, I love that. I think for me, it was what you just ended with, Romeo, about having a place to put those feelings, right? Like, I also struggled a lot and still do sometimes with self-doubt and just when I was younger, it was actually a little bit more self-sabotage, if I'm honest, where I would get close to something and I would get so afraid that I would get sick or something would happen. And in a way, I was kind of like letting myself get in the way. But I do believe that as the earlier you can become aware at minimum of the fact that you have a purpose, and ideally if you can start to look for what that purpose could be and or start trying on different things. I was very lucky that one of the early things that I tried on was acting, and it was a great outlet, being an actress, a dancer, musician, and having a place to put those feelings. And if that's art or science or any kind of avenue that makes you lights you up and makes you feel like you have value, and that you understand that even when someone's not giving you the compliments or they're not rewarding you for things, that it's all part of the process. And I always like to think, if you figured it out all in a day, what would you do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what we're here for. And our some of our best conversations, some of our most meaningful moments, some of our deepest connections honestly come from those times where we are in the in-between. We definitely like to celebrate things, and that's where it's the most fun. But the lasting relationships that you will make, specifically for the young people that are listening, often come from the times that you've needed to be picked up or that you've had to pick someone else up. So I think the sooner we can stop avoiding the pain and realizing that everything is temporary, this too shall pass. Whatever you're going through, whatever your circumstances are, you can get through it and you can overcome it if you just keep going. And that's what I did. I just, at times it did feel hopeless, but I just made a commitment to myself. Like, I'm not going to let that hold me back. I will continue to show up and keep going. And when you do that, I believe you're met with miracles and wonderful surprises.
It reminds me.
What's amazing is, I think, yeah, go ahead, Romeo.
Go ahead. I was just going to say this quote by John Wooden, where he said, do not let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Right. There are a lot of things that you might not be able to do, and it's hurtful, but just acknowledge the things that you've done great. Right. The things you are capable, and just being reminded that there are things that you can't do, but know that you're filled with so much greatness and so much light that the world needs what you have, and go do that. Again, a redirection.
Yeah. Totally. I agree with that. I mean, both of you have reached a level where, you use up all your energy. And at the same time, you are catering to other people's happiness or their needs, or to inspire them. They look up to you, like, little, I don't know, maybe I can use the example of, how they say those puppy dog eyes. So many people are looking up at all of you, like seeing what you're going to do next. So speaking of that, I mean, I know in your positions, maybe inner strength and having thick skin is part of having that, or the roles that you have. Do you agree, or and if you do, why do you think that you need thick skin and inner strength to be in the roles that you are in?
Well, I think you need thick skin and inner strength for everything. whether you are going to be in a public role or not, I think everybody needs to cultivate that. I think it's dangerous to get too excited about compliments and to get too hard on yourself about criticism. I think the inner strength comes from realizing that at the end of the day, you have to decide what makes you feel good and what you want, and to take everything, to let everything come and go, the positive and the negative, and find your own kind of center. Because if you seek your validation from outside of yourself, you will always be reaching for someone to tell you that you're okay. And I know that I spent years doing that. And even now I struggle with being a little bit of a people pleaser. So on one hand, it's incredible to be in a position to where we can help inspire and empower other people. But I think, I know for myself, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Romeo in saying this, that I think we're less interested in people looking at us, and we're more interested in people looking at themselves and seeing themselves in us and saying, wow, because of you, I know I can now too. And I don't want more people to be like, man, I want to be you when I grow up. I want people to be like, wow, I want to be me. I want to be the version of me that I didn't know I could be. I want to have that level of grace and strength and find that resilience in myself. And yeah, once you kind of level up in a way in any area of your life, it's going to open you up to more criticism, honestly. When you make the team, when you get the part, when you do the things that other people want, you're going to get some praise, but you're also going to get some critters and some haters. And I think it's really good to know that those people don't hate you. Oftentimes they don't love themselves yet. And the more you can continue to kind of model that and just like be strong in it, the better, the more effective I think you'll ultimately be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to add on to that, it's just, again, being reminded of simple concepts. One of them being, it's not about what happens to you. It's about what you do with what happens to you. But what's more important as it relates to this question is it's not about what happens to you. It's what happens within you. Right. Ooh. And Monique brought up something really great where she said, cultivate this inner strength. It's not just like, oh, we just have it. Yes, we have it, but we have to, it's a muscle at the same time. Right. And so we've built tools over time. We are tested over time. And which tool am I going to use? Oh, wow. I'm learning this new tool that I thought I had, but it's not part of my arsenal. And so I feel like crap, so forth and so on. And so as we are able to work that inner strength, it strengthens our thick skin, right? Because it's our inner world that creates our outer world. And so being able to cultivate that, being able to, strengthen it is key. And again, it's not just a once and every now and then thing. It's what we do every single day. And that could look like affirmations. That could look like journaling. That could be having, honest, authentic conversations and connections with people. It could be watching videos, reading books, so forth and so on. And so being able to recognize that it is a constant practice when things do throw you off, and no matter what season you're in, you're able to go, that's happening. Watch this. Bam, got that. You can't mess with me. That's happening. Oh, you're saying I'm not good? Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. Boom, I got another tool. And another thing is, especially as it relates to someone saying something negative to you or something that's like tearing you down, and, I could say, just have thick skin, just get over it. One thing to know is that one tool is don't take it personally. It's nothing personal. If you see it, you could see it as feedback if you find it useful. But at the end of the day, don't take it personally, because at the end of the day, it's not what happens to you. It's about what happens within you and what you say to yourself when that happens to you.
Yeah, I like that. And I also like the fact that Monique mentioned, sometimes when people do say negative things about you, they're not ready to love themselves. So they point fingers at others, I guess. Right. Mm-hmm. And, another powerful thing that came to my mind, and which is, I haven't felt it, and I'm sure both of you have too, when you have people that you are somewhat taking care of, but it's somewhat like life doctors. Our powerful voice shows people's thoughts, right? And the energy and the level of it is pretty high. I mean, I don't know, I can only speak for myself, but I've had young people on the verge of just giving up. And I'm praying at the same time, because I'm just like, okay, oh my gosh, this is put in front of me. What do I do? And again, like I was sharing with you guys, it's tough love. How I was brought up and how I teach my children, I'm in that sense of urgency that I have to save this life. I've even come up with a hashtag saving lives online. And that's why this campaign itself is that. So with you both, I know for me, I have certain habits or rituals where I replenish myself, or I make sure that I am 100% so that I can take care of other people. For the both of you, what is your inner foundation and how do you replenish that? It's crazy, right, to think about it.
I'm struggling with that right now. I'm learning. Yeah, I came up with a statement recently, or not recently, a while ago, that giving shouldn't be depleting. And I really do mean that, but I really do struggle with it. My heart is just so big and I just want to give and give and give. And it's just not effective. It really isn't. When you don't give from your overflow, when you're giving and your cup isn't full, it actually makes you resentful. And it like creeps up on you. All of a sudden it's like, why am I doing so much? And it's like, it was always a choice, So I think kind of for me, like I'm trying to learn not to bear the weight of the world on my shoulders, and also not to be more selfish, but to allow what I do to be enough, right? To realize that it's not any individual's job to solve all the world's problems. It's all of our jobs to do what we can and to link up with other people. But like you were saying, you can't, you've got to replenish yourself. And if I'm completely transparent, that's what I'm here in Arizona doing. I'm practicing that and learning how to give back to me, so that I can continue to give. But it is definitely something that I struggle with.
And we're women too, Monique. We have our moments.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like, Mo, like stop already. I get it from everywhere. Could you sit down somewhere? Could you stop trying to do everything for everybody? Like, please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I'm like, okay, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's
I think of
Hey,
I go through it as much as you as well. So one thing, I think of it as like, racetrack, right? Race cars. And then they have the pit stop, right? They need to switch some tires up. They got to get some gasoline. They got to check the engine, so forth and so on. And so I gas up every single morning with my morning routine. I got to fill that engine, and part of that, as I alluded to a little bit earlier, is writing in a gratitude journal. It's saying my affirmations. It is meditating. It is visualizing. It's doing things for myself, my hour of power, if not more or less, to nurture my soul, because I know I'm going to nurture the world with my gifts, my light, my passion. And so if I'm depleted, if I'm tired, if I'm empty, I want to give to the world, but I can't, right? And so therefore I have to fill my own cup. And that could look different for a lot of people. It could be stepping away. Like this past weekend, I went to Lake Tahoe. Oh, I'm re-energized. I'm gassed up again. But again, it's being able to create a practice every single day or every other day, just like how you work out a muscle. Because even though life will throw me off, and if life feels off, I take notice of, did I do my morning ritual? Did I nurture my mind, body, soul? A lot of people say, like, take care of your mind, body, and soul. One thing I want to add to that is mind, body, and soul, and love and connection, right? And so being able to love, obviously connect with yourself, but being able to be around the people and connect with the people that you love is just as key.
I was taught, or I've been mentored by other life coaches or inspiring people just like Romeo, and I feel as though that's how I fill my cup up. I think with the both of you, like you said, you're cheerleaders for each other, and that helps. I want to share something with you both. I don't know if this is going to be funny or whatever, but I learned something new with my life coach, and it's a Hawaiian ancient way of cleansing yourself. Do you know this, Romeo?
Yeah, is it like the 4 lines?
Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
It's just 4 simple sayings, and there's actions to it to make you kind of wake up. I want you guys to do it with me. I feel like it's something that I'm using now ever since. Kimmy Lou. You know Kimmy, right, Romeo?
Yep. Yep.
She's my biggest mentor right now. Okay, so she told me this thing and she shares it to the world. So all you say is, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. That's, you just repeat that over and over, even if somebody's venting to you. That's your way of cleansing yourself and putting this wall, I guess, and cleansing the other person. But then she also taught me something to kind of like, it's like coffee. So your fingertips, you go tap your top of your head, and then you say it. I love you.
I love
I
you.
love you.
Please forgive me. Thank you. And then your temples. I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And
I
Thank
love
thank
you. I'm sorry. Please forgive
Under
me.
your eyes.
Thank you.
I love you.
I
I'm
love you.
Sorry.
I'm
Please
sorry.
Please forgive me.
Thank
Thank
you.
Forgive me.
And then
Thank
above your top lip. I love you. I'm
you.
sorry.
I'm
Please forgive me.
sorry.
I'm
Please
Thank
sorry.
you.
Please forgive me.
And then your collarbone. You just tap it. I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm
Forgive
sorry.
me. Thank
Please
you.
forgive me.
And this is the funny part.
Thank you.
Under your underarm, the right one. I love you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Please
And
forgive
then
me.
this part, you like just bang on your other hand. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And then the other side.
I love you.
I love you. I'm sorry.
Please
Please forgive me. Thank you.
Thank you. I love you. I'm
feel?
sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Oh, I love that.
So I've been doing every morning. It's like my coffee. And then when I feel low, I do that. And you can just do it over and over again. And then, you share it with other people. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. I just thought this was the right moment to share my little tip.
Tapping. Yeah,
Cool.
tapping is a powerful, again, it's one of those things where it's a powerful tool that, again, it does a lot to the mind, body, and it's energy work.
I also wanted to say, too, for anyone who's watching that is a young person, it takes time to develop this. We didn't start out this way. We didn't just like wake up one day and then it was all there and we're like, la, 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 here I am. No, we struggled and we just kept showing up. And I just wanted, I find that there's a very kind of thin line between being inspired and intimidated. And I just want, people that are out there to really know that sometimes you do something, you do it for 5 days and you don't do it again for 5 weeks. But if you keep picking it up and you keep trying it on again, eventually you'll have a full toolbox. Like I have to reach out to Romeo for these tools. And now I've got a new tool and you may hear it once or you might try it and it doesn't work and you got to find something else, but just keep going, keep trying and be consistent.
And that adds on to, another thing that I learned from Kimmy, my life coach sister. You are at the right place at the right time with the right people.
Yeah.
I love that, and it goes with what you guys were sharing earlier, that when there is a door that closes, another one is going to open. Maybe at that time you weren't at the right place. Maybe you weren't at the right mindset. Maybe those people were not going to take care of you as Romeo takes care of Monique now, or Monique takes care of Romeo, or vice versa, to other people. So, you touched on already talking to the youth, making sure that they are patient. But what is your advice or the keys of, I guess, success or just living life to the fullest? I was going to share the key of standing out, but I wanted to redefine it. For those who want to follow your footsteps, both of you, in the acting world, being an author, being a life coach, being a powerful voice, what do you think they can do to separate themselves in order to stand out?
One thing that comes to mind is, in order for you to stand out, is to stand up, right? Sometimes we stay sitting down, we stay observing, which is key to learn and, obviously pick and choose where you need to stand up. But ultimately, my point is, don't be afraid to stand up for your greatness. Don't be afraid to use your voice. Don't be afraid to express yourself, because what life is all about is LIFE, living in full expression. And so don't quiet that voice, because other people will quiet that voice. But again, it doesn't matter what people say. It's what you do with what they say. And so if what they say is going to quiet you down, I would take and reflect on what is happening and be reminded, again, accessing different toolboxes of things, to it's not even tapping anymore. It's like being able to just, remember who you are and remember whose you are, right? And so that's ultimately it. I think it's being able to just authentically be you. Obviously, there are other things with it, with having the mentors, the coaches, the teachers, studying the different success principles of, life and success. But at the end of the day, just remember to stand up for you, because you know what's right intuitively. You know what you have to do. Again, we know what to do, but we always don't do what we know. So being able to just step into that and stand up instead of sitting down and staying quiet. Use your voice. Stand up for your greatness. It's time.
It's time. There it is. It's coming.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I would say take the time to really get to know yourself. Not just what people say about you, but what you know to be true about you. And then be brave enough to express that. And I think it's really important that you don't look at criticism or conflict as like, you don't internalize that and make that your truth. A lot of times those things are really there to sharpen you and to kind of cause you to fight for it. It doesn't come easily, but it doesn't have to cause suffering. And I think sometimes, like there's these sayings like the strength is in the struggle and things like that. And you definitely grow muscles and win with those challenges, but it's really not about like struggle and sacrifice. It's really about like the freedom of expression. So I think to stand out is like Romeo said, first and foremost, to stand up, to stand for something, and to learn to trust your inner knowing, like to trust that the reason for all of this, and that you are meant to accomplish the things that are in your heart. They're not supposed to be your goals for the rest of your life. I think some of us don't achieve our goals because we're afraid of what's going to happen on the other side of them, and so we almost make our dreams a ceiling. So, I think to stand out, yes, stand up, get to know yourself, and know that life kind of unfolds in ways that are unexpected, and it often doesn't look like what you thought it would. So if you adjust, or like if you change with the wind in a way, like if you change because you're criticized, or you're changed because someone else says something about you, then by the time you actually meet the people that are perfect for you and right for you, you will have changed so much that they won't recognize you. So I think it's important to know that you may not be standing out today. People may not see you right now, but 10 years from now, if you are consistent, like your very first question about empowerment, so much of my empowerment has simply come from the consistency of continuing on. That, 10, 15 years ago, no one knew me as this person. The one variable that has changed is time. And for every young person that's out there watching right now, that's the one thing you can't manipulate. And if it's not your time, you can't force it to be your time. But what you can do is you can grow your skills. You can fill that toolbox. You can strengthen those muscles so that you are ready when it is time.
I love that, And I hope that everyone who's tuned in, you guys are learning and taking notes, or just replay and watch this again, because these two are amazing. They're sharing everything that they know on how they became who they are. And it's an ongoing process, learning and acquiring knowledge from everyone, for every positive, inspiring person out there. Including the both of you. I know you have you both have platforms that you keep sharing inspiration through your works. And before we share those platforms, can you guys share with me your why? I mean, our topic today is finding your why, and You did mention bits and pieces of that, but what is the core of your why, and what inspires you to keep pursuing it? I love that.
I've been asked this several times, and I always have different answers. I have go-to answers, but I'm seeing what's present for me right now. First answer that comes to mind is family, legacy. What comes to mind is ancestors.
Ooh.
But even beyond that, what's calling me to say this is it's my assignment and agreement that I made with God before coming to earth.
Yeah.
It might be, that might sound woo to people, but it's a calling. It's this inner knowing that I have this assignment to not necessarily achieve, but to give and to serve in the way that I'm supposed to. And so with that said, me, and then there's another saying that might speak to people, like your why should make you cry, right? Like it has to be deep within you, not do something just to do it, but it has to be deep within you. But for me right now, my answer to this question is it's a calling and agreement that I made with God to carry the torch and ignite the torch within others so that they can ripple affect the light. And that's how this world can stay bright in a world that people perceive as dark. And so as we can be consistent with it, ain't nobody gonna take away this light, because I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that you chose to be so present with it too. I feel the same way. I've been asked that question a lot, and same. Always something different comes to mind. And today, right when you said, "What's your why?" I'm in a moment where my response is, "Why not? Why not? Why not me? Why not? Why not now?" It's going to go to someone. It's going to go somewhere. Why can't it be me? Why can't it be us? Why can't today be the day? Why can't it work? And we may have 1,000 reasons why it can't, but you only need one that is why it does, and I feel like I've spent so much time, and as people who really do genuinely love to serve, I often find that I defer my gifts and I defer my dreams to others, and sometimes don't remember to eat from the pie that I've made. And so right now, my why is because I can. And if I don't, who will? Because there, for at least in this lifetime, there will not be another me, another you. And we were given these unique experiences. We were given these failures. We were given these circumstances and these challenges and these things that we have overcome for a reason. And I don't think that reason is to sit and feel bad about ourselves. I think that reason is to be the foundation and the building blocks for not just our futures, but other people's futures. So, my why is to see what I can do. I'm tired of playing small. Romeo and I just did this the other day where we were talking about kind of what the things were that were limiting us and holding us back. And, playing small and not playing big were two of the things that we opened up to each other about. And we're like, as prominent as we may appear to be in the world, there's just so much more. And it's time. It's time. And I think the darkness that we see is because we, like Romeo said, in so many ways, it's because we are meant to be that light. And it is an assignment. It is a calling. And, the big secret, everybody, is that we're all called. But the difference is who answers.
Yes, I love it. It's okay to eat the whole pie, guys. At least. All right. Especially, I do agree with both of you. There is a calling for certain people on earth, and there's a lot of us. There's some that don't know it yet. but you are called to inspire others and save other people's lives. Whether you do not have that medical degree or whatnot, you do have a heart, you do have a soul. And when that's aligned, you'll see the opportunities, and the puppy dog eyes will be looking up at you guys too, right?
Mhm.
So, like I said earlier, you both have your is it a weekly show? Is it a monthly show? The Ro and Mo, if you guys
Yeah, in
haven't.
the flow with Ro and Mo.
Yeah.
So on Monique's Instagram, right? It's the past episodes are there. I recommend you guys to watch and listen. They're so funny. They're so amazing. Real talk, it things that no filters, and I appreciate that. I appreciate people who are honest about their stories, their feelings, because a lot of people can, feel the same way. You guys inspire others. I mean, you inspired me. That's why I was like, oh, Romeo, I would love you guys to be on my show. It's just, I like that. And
Let me ask you a question, Mafae. What would you say is one thing you got out of, I'm sure you saw different episodes or excerpts of different episodes. What would you say is one thing you got out of one of the episodes we did?
It's just time. It's time to just listen to both of you and absorb the learnings that you both have had. There was plenty. I mean, a lot you've shared here. The lesson, L is not a loss. It is a lesson.
Yeah.
That's really like resonating with me now, because a lot of people think that failure or losing something or, not getting that job is it. Right. And for you both, you've reinvented yourselves. You've reinvented yourselves where the journey that you've had, the successes that you've had, you were honest. You're very honest about your feelings through all that, and you guys are honest now, and that's what I really appreciate. It's not time for people to think about how many likes you have on social media, or rethink, okay, should I edit this or should I just be you?
Yeah.
Right? You are beautiful inside and out. That's what people appreciate even more, and that's what you both have inspired me. I did introduce myself to Monique earlier, and just talking about that, yeah, okay, I did that. Yeah, unique story. But at the end of the day, it's like the rewarding feeling for me is being able to be surrounded by like-minded people, like the both of you, and sharing our failures, sharing the behind the scenes, sharing what happened to have this perfect picture, per se, right? There's so much that people don't know that we have been through, like so much. And I'm sure, Monique, you shared earlier that you went through audition after audition. Romeo, I'm sure, the sharing of the self-doubt. Like, guys, we're human also. We had so much that we had to go through to be this, to have this powerful voice, right?
Absolutely.
Romeo, you're turning it around. I'm supposed to be interviewing you.
Yeah. This is my answer, but tell me about how you would approach this.
Yeah, that's so good.
So I am going to claim that Monique and Romeo will visit the Philippines, and we'll have a tour around the Philippines and also enjoy the beaches and things like that. So I can't wait for you both to come back here. I did see that, Monique, you were out here a few years ago for the World Youth Day Tour. How was that for you?
Incredible. I learned so much. I spent some time in Manila, and I visited some different areas, and just it was quite a long time ago, but I feel like I learned a lot about what young people were experiencing and facing, and from overseas workers, and just like there's a lot of sort of unique challenges in the Philippines, but there's also some incredible work being done, and some really amazing young people that are I always say that young people are at the forefront of social change, and it's definitely happening there, and I'm excited, and I'm going to claim as well that we're going to find our way out there and get to speak to young people in person. And bring this magic, and also get to listen and learn. We're not just here to teach. We're here to learn. We're here to grow. because the power of youth is really to change the world, and we have our open ears and open hearts to figure out how we can help to do that, not just lead.
Mm-hmm. And Romeo, I appreciate your talk with everyone. People are still talking about that, especially the athletes that you had there, because it doesn't matter how old you are. It always is nice to hear from someone that is, an inspiration. That was so much fun, and I can't wait for you to come back.
We will.
So when is the next flow with Mo and Ro?
We were on a little bit of a hiatus, but now you've pushed us. We can get back out there. So, there's going to be a follow-up call where I'm like, Romeo, we got to get back on there. To be honest, that was a little bit of kind of what we were talking about earlier about making sure that we're giving from our overflow. For us, it was really kind of a test in a way to see if it would work, to see if, kind of letting people into our private conversations would be of interest. And I think at this stage we're looking to level it up a little bit, to format it a little bit more, so that yes, we stay in the flow, but we also make sure that it is in a format that we can be consistent and sustainable. So you can definitely expect to see and hear more from us. And like you said, if you go on my Instagram, you can find all of the back episodes. And we will. Romeo actually right now I'm in which I've been a little bit behind. But Romeo actually right now has a 21-day meditation out right now that is incredible. And I know you're launching some things at the top of next year, so you can definitely expect to see us continuing to combine our lights, to cultivate our gifts, and to work together in numerous ways. And we're just trying to figure out the best way to do that right now.
Amazing. And Romeo, please invite everyone to your meditation and whatever else that is you're launching.
Yeah, so right now I have a 21-day meditation going on right now. We're on day 9 of it, and it's just to help people just return back to who they are and return back home, right? Such a very noisy world out there that I want to give people an opportunity to reflect and connect with who they truly are. You can go to destinydecademeditation.com. Romeo, I missed day 1. It's okay. You just choose a meditation. There's no right way of doing it. Just show up, listen, and follow, and be open to what you receive. So again, you could go to destinydecademeditation.com.
Mm-hmm. So guys, I invite you to both of these amazing individuals' platforms. I'll make sure that their websites, their social media, their Facebook pages, I believe you guys have.
And I actually just launched a new platform called Gimme Mo Youth. So that's brand new. It launched on Youth Day this year. And the purpose behind it was that I wanted to not just be a voice for young people, but actually give young people a voice. And so right now it's only been up for a couple of weeks, but I want to encourage, that's where I want to send you. Everyone go follow Gimme Mo Youth, because that's where I want to use this platform to amplify your voices, to give you the opportunity to tell us what you care about and not just listen and hear from the grown-ups. So yeah.
But there you go, guys. I'm so grateful that Monique was able to somewhat launch or pre-launch her new platform on here, and I'll make sure that it's there also on the caption so that you guys can go over there and check it out and comment, share, like. I'm sure there's inspiring content there. I actually went through it, and it was amazing, Monique. Of course, Romeo, I'm always appreciative with all your work, always sharing it with everyone here. And I hope I can invite you guys again. Maybe we can make this monthly or every other month, or when your cups are full. I would love that. And we can talk about.
Sure.
1 hour is not enough for us, I think, and I'm grateful also, to God that He aligned the three of us, because this was a very powerful episode, and I'm grateful. Both of you. God bless you both, and continue your works. Be that strong pillar for everyone, for me. I'm so inspired of what you guys continue to do. So before we wrap up, maybe you guys have more shout outs and thank yous to friends and families, or just to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Mafae.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this platform. Thank you for this opportunity.
Continue rocking, Mafae. You're doing amazing. You've been consistent. Super proud of you, and this is just the beginning of great things to come. And for those that are watching or listening now or later, I just want to remind you, you are capable, you are qualified, and you are called. So keep at it because it's your time.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
And I think we can say it all at the same time. Monique, you know what to say? 1, 2, 3. It's
time. It's time. No more playing small. It's time to play big.
No more playing small. Play big in the world.
Exactly. So again, Monique and Romeo, I am thankful for both of you, for everybody tuned in on Facebook, on Kumu. Thank you guys. I hope your cup is full from what you've learned today. And I will leave you with that. Actions speak louder than words. And thank you again for tuning in this episode of In Love With Me. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching In Love With Me series.